chalk all over me.
Sure. Alright, go.
All right, BoBCast Podcast, number 7.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the BoBCast Podcast, episode 7. This is going to become weekly now. We're at Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, live on channel Stewie 2552 if you're watching us live, which I doubt you are, but welcome. Otherwise, you're watching us on the archive, again, welcome to that as well. Hopefully, the stream doesn't start playing audio. That'd be bad. So, basically, it's a weekly show about technology, gaming, and our random thoughts and things about them, and basically what we're doing with the gaming and technology and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a quiet period. Last week we have Gamescom that was going on off in Europe. Since then we're kind of coming off that. Last week, you had the Skylake reveal and all that kind of stuff. Not so much in the way of big hardware reveals this time around, but we're still dealing a little bit of big news coming from Intel and Nvidia, for example. We have the GTX 750 was not necessarily rumored, but the pictures were kind of leaked of the 750. I believe that's the Asus version. I could be wrong about. I think it was Asus.
Yeah, the
950. That's what I meant. Thanks for correcting me,
Restart,
guys.
We're restarting. Take two.
But all sorts of other good things. Also, the kind of the biggest thing in the gaming sphere in the last week has been the mod for Grand Theft Auto 5. It's basically a different multiplayer intended to allow mods, but the creators of it were banned. We'll have a discussion on that, and that's pretty much our biggest topic. So thanks for watching. I don't have the intro video ready. Hold on. So we're going to delay a little bit. Ready? So, I guess we'll just jump to what you guys have been up to the last few days. It's fine. Relax. So what have you guys been up to the last week gaming-wise? I mean, a lot of us have been really busy, and we're doing jobs and things, which is kind of fun. So, anything on the gaming sphere of things, guys?
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Nothing.
You gotta pick the order, Nick. You can't just make it a free for all.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, you want to host this thing or what?
I always kind of let whoever takes initiative to go first, and then I start calling people out. So, Mark, what have you been up to the last week?
I played DayZ with you.
That was good. DayZ is getting there. It's slow
not.
progress. It's getting there. Yeah, it's pretty bad still though.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's fun, but it's
They just RTX was this weekend. I guess that's something that we didn't really talk about. They did show off some things at RTX. They showed off some of the new vehicles that are coming to DayZ in the upcoming few days. They had the bus, the sedan, and I think the off-road SUV were the few things that they showed off during that. So that's kind of neat, I guess.
Wait, is this like a DayZ conference?
No, it's the Rooster Teeth Expo, but the developer Hicks from DayZ, he was one of the presenters that talked at one of the panels, was talking about DayZ, and basically DayZ's kind of become, as weird as it sounds, kind of the example for early access games. It kind of was like the first big early access title, despite the fact it's really lagging behind a lot of other early access titles at this point in time. But Dean Hall was kind of known as kind of the guy that really prompted early access. I mean, you're talking a game that had zero advertising, you had zero publicity just outside of just people playing the mod, and ended up selling over 3 million copies, which is kind of respectable. So,
I think if you want to talk about early access successes, you should mention Minecraft.
well, okay, Minecraft, that is very true. Although that was kind of the era before early access was a thing, because that was kind of its.
I mean,
it's a very valid point. Don't get me wrong, very valid point. But I mean, a lot of people I was even playing in the alpha stages too. Minecraft, yeah. So Minecraft was a very, very good and successful. I mean, most of us have. I know Mark. Mark was the first one that I know that started playing Minecraft, and I was kind of like, "Oh, this looks kind of neat."
Yeah, his house was the first time I played it. Went home that night, and I was like, "All right, I'll throw $15 at this or whatever the hell."
It was like, yeah, and then I barely played it after that. Really.
That's was that on your old laptop too, wasn't it? That's before you even had your.
The Dell. That amazing laptop.
Oh man, and then you moved on to the Cyberpower PC. That was a laptop. When did we even jump on the Minecraft? That had to be, because I still have my laptop then too. So was that senior year of high school? So was that like late 2011, or was it even before then?
It might
It
have.
was.
I think it was
even
a little before that.
A little bit before then, yeah.
Okay. Because I know Connor, surprisingly, he's not here tonight. He can't really talk about it, which is kind of unfortunate. But Connor was one that really enjoyed it. That was like the least person I would have expected to enjoy the type of game.
I think he played it like for 1 week.
He really really enjoyed it though. Like he was always playing it. So I thought that was just really odd. I'm like, okay.
I just remember when you saw it and you were like, so these graphics are going to get better, right?
That's the point, Ryan. Come on,
man.
I never once played it 0 minutes into Minecraft, so.
It's a fun time waster. It's especially if you get like the multiplayer servers going. I know like it kind of became our finals tradition during finals week. We'd always play Minecraft as like a stress reliever, which is probably really bad because then we just didn't study. We just play Minecraft for all night. But that was something that we always played. So we had almost our entire floor playing it. So we had like 8 or 9 people playing it, and just like these chaotic multiplayer servers. Really, really fun. But you just can't, hold on to anything without it breaking from somebody. I know in then my sophomore year on campus, they changed the way the internet worked on campus so that each floor was like a subnet, and so each floor could just connect to it without having to run Ethernet wires from like my room. And so I just opened up a server one day, and that's also when they added the built-in host LAN, which was awesome. And then just random people on my floor would just start joining. I had no idea who they were. So that's how I met some people. But they're all assholes. I hated my floor my sophomore year. Seriously, terrible human beings. Because it's like the first day. I'm like, walking down the hallway and some door is open. And I was gonna say, hey, how's it going? And I was like, oh, hey guys, I'm Nick. If you, doors down. They just looked at me and said, oh, hey, and went right back to their computer. I'm like, all right, so I can see how this is going.
Hey.
I want to talk to you.
I made 0 friends my sophomore year on my floor. Like everyone just was in their own little groups already, and they just didn't care. And then my RA changed halfway through. Then he would always. I'm going on a rant about sophomore year. Sophomore year was terrible. Anyway, so
a little hurt, huh?
Tom, what have you been up to then on your own?
Very little. I mean, very little, like, gaming or technology-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I reinstalled Windows, I've been just getting all my stuff set up for that computer science nerd shit that I do.
Nice.
So, getting my build environment all reset up so I could do some of that code writing that I haven't done basically since I left school. So, I probably should get on that.
Are
so
you
rusty?
Are you planning on joining Windows 10 at all, or no?
That is a hard no.
Yeah. Based on some of our topics today, it's making me less and less want to jump on that.
Yeah, actually, though, I have been installing. So I installed a bunch of like virtual machines so I could run Internet Explorer without actually having to use it on my regular computer in case something goes terribly wrong. Then I can just roll it back. So I've been doing that for a while. And then I learned that basically for web developers, so you want to make your website work on every possible platform and every browser. Microsoft provides you like a virtual machine for with each copy of Internet Explorer, but each one comes with a complete distribution of Windows. So if I wanted to test my website, say I'm working on Linux and I want to test it on IE for like 7, 8, and 9, I would need to get 3 different virtual machines, each 12 gigs. So naturally, the Microsoft solution is just fantastic and really, really well thought out.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I just have that sitting around.
One thing I want to do, and I'm going to try and work on a video for my channel, Stewie2552, is kind of a comparison between Windows 7, 8, and 10, and basically gaming performance-wise, and seeing if there is kind of a difference. And I've seen some videos do it, but they've only been using like AAA titles, like the newest AAA titles, and something I want to do is go back to games that are really, because none of them are really CPU intensive. So I feel like that's the overhead on the different operating systems would be something that'd be interesting to look at. So like Arma 3, for example, that built-in benchmark, I want to use that as one of the test examples because that should really be a joy to look at. Maybe even Arma 2, because I think that was still running DirectX 9, so it'd be kind of interesting to get some different DirectX versions running too in the test. Trying to get as much of a comparison as much as possible. So, I don't know. I promise I'll do hard installs though, none of that virtual wonderfulness. So, Kevin, you've been moving across the country. You've been with your moving into your new apartment. What have you been up to the last? I haven't even talked to you actually in like the last like few months. So what have you been up to?
I've been up to just basically what you've said, man. Melton down here in Dallas without air conditioning. Finally got that sorted out today. I became an Excel wizard at training for work. I'm basically a better programmer than Tom, as I said earlier.
Probably.
But yeah,
Okay.
nothing. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how Lamar Miller is the 12th ranked running back in fantasy football this year. I don't know who messed that up, but that intern's getting fired. But yeah,
Sports.
yeah. Bears play tomorrow at 7, I think, for anybody interested. You can buy the game
preseason
online for $14 if you don't have access to it. So definitely
Interesting.
worth it
Pretty
for a
neat.
preseason game.
Who do they play again?
Oh,
Do you know?
Dolphins?
yeah, the Dolphins.
Okay, gotcha.
I know more about the Bears than you do.
Sure do, Mark.
Oh man.
Actually, because I know you're getting your internet set up for like a week or a couple days.
Yeah.
So what speeds are you looking at?
I get 18 down and about like 1 up.
Not bad, not bad. Is there like a lot of choice there? Because I mean you're in a pretty major city, so I imagine there's
Yeah,
more
it
than
was my
one
my
ISP.
building. My building is wired for Time Warner or AT&T. So there's multiple options, but I only had those two. And I
Okay.
was not going to get Time Warner.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
I've never heard good things. So.
Me neither.
Gotcha. So Ryan, with no picture, but how have you been doing, sir?
Pretty good. Not too much gaming since last time. Played a little bit of Dirty Bomb, I think, and then I played BioShock for a few hours today. Actually,
BioShock
still, yeah, BioShock 1. I'm a little behind. All right.
1.
Hey, that's a
Same,
great
man.
game. Great game.
I'm probably gonna finish it tomorrow. Actually, I'm almost done. So besides that, pretty much nothing. Got my wisdom teeth taken out.
Ugh.
Pretty fun stuff.
I don't think
Yo,
I
are you
have to
down
do
in
that.
Champaign?
No, I'm going to Michigan on Friday, and then Sunday, coming back home, and then going to Champaign.
For your last year of balancing tables. Good
Yep.
luck.
Last year.
How's the equation? What is it?
For what?
For accounting.
Oh, you mean like the accounting equation?
Yes.
Tell us the
Um,
secret of your ways.
I don't know. I'd have to look at my notes, guys. I'm sorry.
Wow.
A
Killing
serious coat.
Killing me.
Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
I don't know any of that
But
means.
where does the balancing tables come in?
Oh,
That's
it doesn't. That's not a real thing.
He just said if your asset table is equal to your owner's table and
Your
your
liabilities table.
liabilities table.
Yeah.
What about the coffee table? Do you have like books, or do you just use like a piece of cardboard?
No,
What do
mine's
you-
actually a coffee table book that turns into a coffee table.
Use a coffee table.
If you don't have a coffee table, yeah.
God damn. All right. Well, on that note, let's play the intro because I think I got to work now. So woo!
Wow, dude, it looks like it's working.
It is working.
Oh, man.
Just production.
I cut
Through
it
the roof.
just a
Production
little too
value.
early.
through
Cut
the
it just a
roof.
little too early. Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to the BoBCast Podcast, Episode 7. We are going to jump into a recent discovery. This discovery from Intel processors, basically an exploit that was found and discovered dating back to 1997. So an exploit with processors way back in the day. Kind of a frightening concept. So basically, any Intel processor, I don't know if Skylake was affected by this. I don't know if that's included in this, but this was part of the Black Hat conference that we talked about last week about all the reasons why you never want to leave your house kind of things. Black Hat conference kind of discovered that kind of a terrifying tidbit. So basically, It allows access to your low-level ATI functions in your computer, and completely without your knowledge. So that's pretty good. I don't really know how much this could affect everything, other than that I know that is a very big, basically way into your computer. So basically, you can inject all sorts of bad things into there, execute any type of basically commands, almost completely bypassing your OS. So, kind of neat.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the problem with this is that it's for management stuff. So once again, something that was intended to help you out, but can instead be used by the wrong people to mess with your game. So that's always fun. It seems like this. I mean, I like you said, with the Black Hat last week, we've seen a lot of just exploits in general come to light, but this brings me back to or reminds me of this Android exploit that they also released, where basically it's for like remote management stuff. So if you have a problem, you can get tech support to come and like do some remote things and like simulate key presses and all sorts of stuff on your phone, so they can fix it for you. But obviously, if someone else can do it, and if a bad guy can get in there and kind of mess with your stuff, that could be pretty bad for you. So it's along the same lines. Essentially, it's supposed to be helpful so that your processor can handle errors, but if bad guy gets a hold of it, they can run arbitrary code. So
and basically,
always good.
And like the way to bypass it is basically to, when you are using your computer, do not run as an administrator. That's what they're saying is the way you can bypass this type of exploit. If you're not running as an administrator, theoretically it shouldn't affect your computer. But I don't know anybody that has, like, out of all of you guys, do any of you even have a second account on your computer, or is it just the one account that you use?
It's just the
Mine.
one.
Just the one.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how everyone is nowadays. I remember, like, back in the day, we used to have the family computer, and each person had their own little account, and
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I always just used the administrator one because I knew all the password. I set up the computer when I was younger anyway, so I don't know. There was no point to it. I mean, there is a point to it, obviously, but not for like just like a family computer, I really don't think. But possibly affecting AMD processors as well, although that doesn't seem to be as known. It's more so just affecting Intel. And again, basically it's every Intel processor dating back to 1997, although apparently Skylake is not affected by this. So there we go, guys. Let's all upgrade to Skylake, and we are golden.
Upgraded too soon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely something I've been thinking about, that jump. I don't think I'm gonna do it though, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm still waiting for Intel to just drop a bomb eventually. I feel like at some point in the next few years, they just have to just announce something, mic drop, and walk away
Well,
off stage.
once they figure out how to make smaller things more economical and actually work with the physics, then we're good to go.
It'll be a fun day, that's for sure. Yeah. So moving on to Windows 10. Again, Mark, did you ever get? No, are you still at the thing just crashing every time you try and update to Windows 10?
Yes.
Okay, good. Does anybody else update Windows 10? Kevin,
It hasn't been rolled out to me yet. I don't
you
think.
haven't gotten it. Okay, well, good thing we're talking about this now, so that maybe you'll double think that, rethink that.
Double thing.
So, Windows 10 released a new terms of service on August, I believe it was August 1st. August 1st. And inside the term of service, God bless whoever actually read through that entire document. I'm just going to read the exact quote from the term of service, because I think that that's just not okay. So, quote, sometimes you'll need software updates to keep using the services. We may automatically check your version. Of the software and download software updates, configuration changes. Okay, sounds pretty good. And then we get to including those that prevent you from accessing services, playing counterfeit games, or using unauthorized hardware or peripheral devices. End quote. So essentially, Windows 10 can go through and turn off whatever it deems as unauthorized hardware, which I have no idea what that means. And they can also
Whatever Microsoft wants.
yeah,
it to mean.
basically, which is terrifying. And also, it can just block access to pirated games, essentially making you not be able to access them. So that's just annoying.
Annoying.
I mean, the big thing that bothers me is like I don't care if you're telling me it's not good. It's like always like Windows Vista had those pop-ups like you sure want to do this, you sure want to do this. Yes, I want to do this. It's kind of just trying to have like a fail-safe in for people that don't know what they're doing with computers, and instead of affecting just those people that don't know what they're doing, it's affecting everybody. And it seems like there's no way to get around this. I haven't seen anybody. I don't know if this has actually affected anybody yet. I doubt it has this early in the game. But the fact that they could at any given point is kind of not okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just sort of see this as yet another example of a huge privacy overreach on Microsoft's part, and yet another reason I'm not going to get Windows 10.
I mean, I was so ready to get Windows 10. I was just about to, and we briefly touched on this during the last podcast on Thursday. We briefly kind of touched on it because it was kind of an afterthought. I just kind of saw it on, I think it was on Reddit somewhere. I just kind of picked up on it a little bit. And I was kind of like, oh, I got to look more into this. And I'm kind of glad I did, because until this gets turned off, I really do not have any interest now to go to Windows 10. I mean, because now, I mean, it's not only, I mean, it's just like completely snooping on your system, essentially what it's doing. So, I mean, I guess the question, too, like, is this, like, checking in on what hardware you have and sending this information then over to, like, people that could sell you ads and direct you ads? Like, oh, hey, your graphics card is, like, 6 years old. You should get a new one.
Yeah, I mean, they've confirmed that they'll sell all of your system info they get to third parties, so or at least it's in the TOS. So yeah, it's pretty neat stuff.
It seemed like such a great thing back in the day, but now I'm starting to see why they made this a free upgrade for everybody.
Yeah, right.
The fact there's just ads just inside the operating system is just not okay.
Dude, come on.
Can you turn those off?
Yeah, there are ways to turn off like a lot of like the snooping things, but I mean the fact it has it built in, the fact you have to manually do all this yourself is just not okay.
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna drop that $15 and get that Solitaire subscription.
Oh, I forgot they removed the games and stuff too.
Yeah,
You have to
I'm thinking about it for a while.
That's
But-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wait, you have to pay for Solitaire?
Yeah. No, it's ad supported, so it's like freemium.
Yeah.
So it's like you can play it for free, but it's got ads, and so you have to pay to get them removed.
A game that comes with your operating system that has ads. What the hell are you doing, Microsoft?
Pretty great.
But there is one good thing Microsoft did announce. This kind of came from the Gamescom thing, which is good news, I guess. So Microsoft, they are not going to try and take away Steam. So in terms of they're not going to try and take business away from Steam. So you had the Halo Wars announcement, which again, not really a big deal for people that I'm sure people aren't lining out the door, anticipating Halo Wars. But it's kind of a big thing because it was a big Halo franchise coming to PC. And something we talked about last week was, is this going to make us use the Xbox app? Are we going to have to go through Games for Windows Live or anything like that? Like some rehashed version of Games for Windows Live. But basically, Windows, they're planning on using Steam. So that's good at least. At least there's no proprietary software for getting games.
Yet,
I guess. Because it does say, where's this code on here? I had it copied earlier. Microsoft fully intends to support Steam as it brings over new games to the platform like Gears of War and Halo Wars 2 next year. It doesn't kind of say forever. It just says next year, so I don't know if they have some sneaky thing, but you never know.
They've confirmed that they have an Xbox app for Windows 10, I assume.
Right, that's on there, right? And
that'll be their main platform.
I just hope not, because this is a good sign. The fact that they're using Steam, I feel like this is a good sign that they're not going to try and force you to use that Xbox app or anything like that. I mean, the exact quote is, we knew we wanted to help make great multiplayer, we knew we wanted to bring things over, but it wasn't the right approach. when referring to games for Windows Live. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know.
Time will tell.
Are there any Xbox exclusives that you guys are just really waiting for to come to? I guess we can open up to any console exclusive, really. Any console exclusive that you're really wishing was on PC? Mark?
I miss
Kevin?
the Halo. I'd like to play that again. Well, I guess I could play that Halo Online game, but
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They just had a really nice article about the Halo Online in PC Gamer, I believe it was. So hopefully it'll boost the population up a little bit more. But I mean, Halo is really the only thing from the consoles that I kind of really wish was here. There's nothing I ever really was interested in. Kevin,
Yeah.
like sports
Yeah.
games or anything? I feel like aren't most sports games coming to PC now via Origin?
There is no baseball option that's worth buying on PC.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna buy a PS4.
I just got my PS4. MLB The Show is awesome.
Okay.
I was just thinking though, like I don't even follow console news anymore. I couldn't even tell you what console exclusives there
Yeah.
are.
Mhm.
Either one. I just get it for sports. So I mean, I guess to answer your question, no, I don't
Okay.
care about anything coming out for either console.
Is Madden on Origin? 'Cause
No,
I know
no.
FIFA is, but so Madden's not. Okay.
Yeah, and then 2K tricked everybody by saying they were going to come out with a better football game than Madden, and then it's now only mobile. So,
and maybe PC and maybe
Maybe.
Xbox, but not PS4. But who knows what that even means?
so the PC version will just be a shitty mobile port, probably.
Who knows?
You have to have a touchscreen.
Well, they said if it
computer.
does well on mobile, maybe they'll bring it somewhere else.
I don't understand. They know it would do well.
Yeah, what?
They released it to consoles. I don't.
'Cause mobile is the future,
Yeah, I feel
man.
like there's enough people who are pissed off at how shitty Madden is now.
So what's
Yeah,
wrong
and-
with
and-
Madden? I'm so out of the loop with like sports game, the sports genre. That's why you guys are here. So what's kind of I've heard
That's
this
all we're
before.
good for.
No,
So you guys are here.
no, I've heard this. I've heard this before. But what exactly is wrong with like Madden now? Because I've heard a lot of people complaining about
So,
this.
in my opinion, they completely abandon the current generation, like one game too early. So like Madden 15, or what did we have?
He
Madden
had
15?
Madden
25.
25.
Oh yeah, 25 because it was the
Just the
anniversary
25th.
edition.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
literally the worst game I ever
Was
played.
yeah, so that was the one that they were going to re-release on the PS4, so they just pushed out basically Madden 14 again, but with just updated rosters, and everything was broken. You couldn't even navigate through the menus without it lagging or just not working. So
It would
they
freeze
know
all the time too.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
Matt
they
Hasselbeck
know
shoots
that
me.
they're the only football game on the market, so they can basically put anything out there and people will buy it. It's just, yeah, it's just really shitty.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It seems like this is something that I wanted to talk about. I completely forgot about, but we mentioned it last week. Was kind of I feel like the consumers are finally starting to kind of push back, and I feel like at least the big companies are starting to pick up on that a little bit. Although I mean, he had the release of Batman, which is just that was just an awful thing on PC. But I feel like the consumers are finally starting to take a stand against kind of these big companies, are starting to kind of decide with their wallets now. I think a really big thing is the Steam policy for refunds. I think that alone is kind of giving developers kind of the extra kick in the ass to start making better games, because knowing this refund policy exists. I know Origin has already had this refund policy, and that's only EA games though. So
I wish that Steam had like some sort of blockbuster model where you could rent games and like have them in your library for a week and then have it disappear after that, and then you can decide to buy it, because like you were
Yeah.
saying, like so many games are so broken these days.
Well, you
Like I
think
feel
they-
like if that was an option, that
yeah.
developers would be able to see how shitty their games are and how many people would actually not buy them or pre-order them if they could rent them first.
I mean, you think they have the infrastructure in place. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it.
There's a lot of games
Yeah,
though that you
wow.
could probably beat in a week, and then you just wouldn't buy
That's
them
true.
or just rent them.
Well,
Maybe
that would
instead
just
of
push
like a
developers to
like
actually
amount of
make good
playing
games.
time
That's true.
instead
But-
of.
I mean, also some games aren't really meant to be played for a week. I mean, like I played like the Stanley Parable. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but it was a really cool idea and really well executed. But I mean, it takes you maybe 4 hours at if that to actually power through the whole thing and like really get to. I mean, actually probably even less than that. It's like maybe 2 hours. So I mean, it's not really like a full featured game, but it was still something I gave money to because the developer was, it was a really interesting idea. So something like that. But maybe it's like I would personally leave it up to developers to make it like a rent option. Although then people who know that their games would suck probably wouldn't do it. So
I mean, I really miss the days when there used to be demos. Because that used to be a
Yeah,
big
right.
thing, especially on Xbox 360, going into like the marketplace, just getting a demo, playing it for like 30 minutes and being like, okay. I mean, I
Like,
think
yeah.
that would particularly be really good for PC. So you can kind of see like, will this run on my system well? And then you can play it for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour. If they give you just like a little sample time, I feel like that would solve a lot of these problems as well.
yeah.
I don't know. There's light. I feel like big people are thinking of these things. Hopefully, Steam started changing. And see, there's the thing. Steam just started making the refund policy. They've obviously been playing catch up with Origin, so maybe Origin they have to innovate, and they have to they gotta stay ahead. And they'll come out with this first. EA, if you're listening to
Yay
us.
for once.
EA, if you're listening, if you're watching this podcast right now, one, you should sponsor us. And two, you
Yeah.
and two, you should definitely do a trial, like 1 hour trial for your games. If you really want to prove that your games aren't terrible, or Ubisoft especially, if you really want to prove your games aren't terribly optimized pieces of crap, give us an hour to play them to make sure. Boom. Problem solved.
If they don't want to give you that, they just want you to buy it.
And
Yeah.
that's true. But I mean, if they're trying to win back the consumer, I think that's the way. That's
Trying to
that's
win
the
your
ticket.
money.
That's the ticket, anyway.
Well, I mean, I'll pay $5 to try it.
That's it depends.
Well,
Depends
how much did
long.
it used to cost to rent a game at Blockbuster?
When it first started, it's pretty cheap. But then by like
Yeah.
the later years, it got
It was probably around like
ridiculously
$5,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I mean, if
It
I
was
got
Wasn't there like 2 days and like 5 days and
Something like that.
Yeah,
I
there
don't-
were.
I don't know.
But also, there are no restrictions on like how much you can return games on Steam, right?
Correct.
So, like in theory, you could just buy a game, play it for an hour, return it if you don't like it, or
Mhm.
keep it if you do, and then, or return it and then buy it again if you decide you do like it.
Well, there
Although
was-
they probably protect against that, so you don't just like
Mm-hmm. There's got to be
return it.
some.
Buy-
there is a
yeah.
time limit if you play for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I guess that would be the difference. Would be paying to rent it for a week versus just whatever the time limit is on the refund.
I guess the big thing is just removing the inconvenience of having to go through the refund process.
yeah.
Plus, I think you lose money if it's sales tax. I think you lose that. That goes to like your Steam account as opposed to back to your credit card. I think that's how it works. A friend of mine just had to do a refund for something, so I've never
Yeah.
done it, so I really don't know. But all right, okay. Well, next topic, which I think is a pretty big deal, at least in the gaming sphere, especially for the modding community. So Grand Theft Auto 5, there's a group of modders out there creating a mod called the V FiveM mod, and it's basically creating this little extra multiplayer universe in which players could basically mod in whatever the hell they wanted, and there's some really cool things that came out of this multiplayer thing. Like people I think there's like a Vice City mod where it's like playing on a Vice City map just in it just because why not? And it was like really, really cool stuff. And the developers were really trying to find ways to get around the whole because Rockstar is a pretty hefty banning situation if you mod in multiplayer, but single player was left online. However, they kind of deemed this V FiveM mod as it's kind of this gray area because it wasn't in the official multiplayer, but obviously it isn't single player. It's in its own generated multiplayer. And so they created this this extra thing, and they got Mark.
What'd I do?
Get out of
Whoa,
here.
that was
What the
really
hell was
fucking
that?
loud. I don't know what that was.
Get him, ban him, get him out of here.
I didn't do anything.
It just got super loud. Anyway, so basically the creators of it were banned and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, Rockstar finally responded to this because this is kind of starting a big uproar amongst the community, the modding community. And basically, FiveM Project, this is their quote, FiveM Project is an unauthorized alternate multiplayer service that contains code designed to facilitate piracy. Let me just stop you right there, Microsoft. They were even being Rockstar. I'm just so giddy yelling at Microsoft today. Rockstar, because Rockstar, I don't think they understand what this mod was. Because the modders actually put in the social club into their mod in order to prevent pirates from playing the game. However, this is what Rockstar saw as being a multiplayer version. So they're actually doing right by preventing piracy in their mod, and they got banned for it. So, I don't know. None of you guys have Grand Theft Auto 5. So
Not yet.
that's unfortunate. Grand Theft Auto 5 multiplayer, it's a joy. And I can see why the banning is so hefty in multiplayer. Because if you start getting people that just have like God mode on, it's awful. Because it's not like Grand Theft Auto 4 was just kind of spawn. You didn't have like a life, I guess you could say. With Grand Theft Auto 5, you have a player with like a currency and a bank account and weapons tied to you and everything. So getting killed over and over again will cost you a lot of money, cost you a lot of your gear and everything. And so I can see why the multiplayer is so strict, or the multiplayer banning is so strict. And this is kind of a really weird situation, this whole story. Because like I said, they went out of their way to try and prevent pirates from playing in this multiplayer mod. And then they got banned for it. And it's not really determined at this point if it's a full ban or temporary ban or suspension. That's kind of sad. I think a good example of this is the Just Cause 2 mod, because the Just Cause 2 didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, Just Cause 2, it didn't have a multiplayer built in, but modders just created it, and it kind of made this awesome multiplayer mod that the Just Cause developers actually promoted, and it definitely helped, I think, the sales of Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
So I feel like having this modded multiplayer probably would have promoted sales, considering you had to buy the game to play it.
Yeah. I mean, I would go back to when they first released DayZ. I remember the Arma 2 devs, Bohemia Interactive, they openly just came out and said we've never seen higher sales when our game went on a Steam sale after DayZ had been really come into the popular light. There's nothing bad about people adding more features to your game, again, as long as it doesn't enable piracy. But the whole point here is that they specifically didn't want that to happen. So I remember that's why that dedicated server mod for Modern Warfare 2, which I'm blanking on the name now, but
IWNet?
Yeah, IWNet, yeah. So it was they modded in Deddy servers, which is something everybody wanted on that, and apparently it was actually pretty good, but it would let you pirate the game. So I can see your motivation there, but here, although to answer your point about how they would get more sales, I think Rockstar is pretty good in the sales department. They've made
They spent on the
many
same game
millions
for
of
the past
dollars.
3 years.
Yeah, they've got plenty of
5
money.
consoles.
So
I mean, Rockstar, they're allowing the modding obviously happening on single player, but they keep changing code with every update, basically making it harder to mod this game. They're really not supporting the modding community, which is a real shame.
yeah.
Because let's be real, modding really will facilitate game sales. Like a lot of people are interested in the modding. I mean, a lot of you guys had Skyrim. I mean, how many mods did you guys mess around with Skyrim just because you could?
Yeah. Tons, all of them.
A lot. I did a lot for Fallout as well. Probably more for
Fallout.
Oh
Fallout.
yeah, dude, Fallout.
I mean, just there's so much, like, you can just give this game the whole second life just by adding a texture pack. I mean, it's crazy to think that game developers are still going out of their way to kind of prevent modding from happening. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
And
which
even
is
a game
also
like-
weird.
Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's also weird because Rockstar took so much time to make the PC port right, and they took the extra year, and everyone's like, oh, they're just delaying a year, but like then they added all this stuff, they made it a decent port and not just like a crappy copy paste job. So,
What were you saying, Kevin?
I was gonna say, like, even like simpler games like City Skylines. Like, I would have been bored with that game in a week or something if it didn't allow for mods. Like, the mods are why I go back and keep playing it.
I mean, the games that have such a good modding environment, like, their communities are usually just amazing. You have all these different people like helping, funneling these resources into like supporting these mods and everything. Like, if you want an active community, definitely support modding. I mean, you had like SimCity 4, for example, a game that was released like a decade ago, still had like a very active community because everyone's just modding all this crazy stuff in. And that game was still selling like crazy on like every like Steam sale up until City Skylines came out. Just dumb. I mean, obviously Arma 3 embraced the whole DayZ, so made us millions of dollars. So Arma 3 is very open for mod support, and you see some really awesome mods coming out of Arma 3. But it's just terrible. I don't know. This whole thing just drives me nuts. I mean, there's always two sides to every story. So I mean, I don't know exactly if this FiveM developers were doing something, borderline sketchy with their whole thing. But just based on their argument, it seems to me like they were in the right. But I don't know. All right, so this is two things of interest coming from Kid Guru here. You had Intel going to release unlocked i7 CPUs in notebooks. So basically, you can overclock laptops, because why not? And number two, wrong one. There it is. Intel is coming out with Xeon processors in mobile workstations. So kind of looking up for the notebook and the enthusiast that need portability. I guess we'll start off with the Xeon. I don't know if you even need a Xeon in a desktop.
Nope.
yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, I do like a lot of video editing in like the field and kind of thing. That's why I got my new Alienware laptop. I didn't want Alienware, but it was really cheap, and it's a quad core with hyperthreading, so I'm not gonna say no. But I mean, like, this thing has made me more money than it already cost. Just be able to render out video a lot faster and being able to send things in first. Xeons is obviously gonna really promote that. I think if anybody will really benefit from Xeon processors coming out on mobile stations, it'll probably be the media, journalists, and video people. I mean, in mobile workstations, I can't imagine too many people really embracing Xeons.
Yeah.
I mean, the Xeon processors now are like in the range of like, what, $4,000 at times? Like $4,000, $5,000. I can't even imagine what these mobile workstations are going to cost. And then just the cooling on these things have got to be like ridiculous as well. So that's kind of fun.
And they won't even be as powerful either.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, right.
Theoretically, anyway. I guess that then leads us into releasing the unlocked CPUs for notebooks. This one has me a little confused.
Well, I mean, I think also the thing with this is that it could be overclocked by like laptop makers as well.
That's very true.
You
That's
know,
a
I mean,
very,
like,
very good point.
With graphics processors and stuff, you see a lot of factory overclocked things, stuff where the maker will take the reference card and then actually go a little bit beyond the standard speed. So I could see an enthusiast laptop maker going in and actually maybe trying to push a little bit more out, and also doesn't hurt to just have the option for yourself later.
I'm waiting for the first water-cooled gaming laptop. I'm waiting for it. It's gonna come out eventually. It's probably gonna
maybe.
be. I'm gonna bet CES. There's gonna be a water because of this announcement alone.
I don't know,
I'm gonna
man.
bet CES is gonna be some crazy concept like gaming laptop that's water cooled. Just has to like have a little pump next to
Well,
you.
they do have those weird like vapor cooling systems for again for graphics cards, and those are pretty compact. So I bet you could have managed something like that in a laptop situation.
I don't know why I didn't even think about that manufacturer overclocking. I honestly didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. Yeah, that'd be very good for companies like Asus, MSI, Razer, Alienware, those type of companies that make these dedicated machines.
Yeah.
I mean, they could make some ridiculous cooling system on laptops. I forget there's that one Asus laptop which is just massive. It's got
Yeah,
like
well.
jet exhaust on the back for cooling. It's got like I think it's a SLI like 980Ms in there. It's just a massive laptop. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a really good point. Huh.
Blowing your mind, Nick.
Things that make you go, I guess gaming laptops for you guys. Mark had one. I don't think anybody else did. I mean, do you have any interest in kind of gaming portability, or at least powerhouse portability for anything that you guys do on a daily day? Daily.
Daily.
Daily. I don't know. Anyone out to the field?
I don't think
No.
it's worth it at all. It's
Okay.
way
I
more
don't either.
expensive, and you don't get as much power.
I mean,
Yeah.
so even after owning it yourself, you wouldn't ever recommend it to anyone?
I mean, it got the job done, but that was before I had a desktop, so I didn't really know what I was doing.
I guess if you have the choice going into college, getting either a gaming PC or a gaming laptop, because you didn't have a laptop. 'Cause let's just say your existing laptop was in really bad shape and couldn't use it, period. So you had no extra laptop. Would you still get a gaming PC, or would you go for the gaming laptop still? Mark.
Well, I mean, I guess I did need a laptop for some stuff,
Okay.
but I probably could have gotten away with not having one. I don't know, just using a crappy old one.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, like,
I would have rather had a desktop.
because I feel like it's always kind of like the stereotypical like college student using laptops all the time, but I really didn't use a laptop that often in college. I mean, very rarely there'd be a group project or two that it'd be nice to have it. I mean, I was rocking where's that? It's back there. This old laptop back there, which is now turning into it's monitoring radio stations. That was my driver for 4 years of college. It was a 2007 Centrino 2 terrible laptop, and it got me through. So
Yeah.
I'd actually get a Mac.
I mean, well, so I have a MacBook, but I have like the '06 MacBook, so it's like pretty old school. Back
oh,
before
your
they
laptop's older than
switched
mine.
to
Yes.
but it's before they switched to like the metal, so it's still that like plastic, that white plastic shell.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I used it. So the problem is, I didn't really use it as much as I think I would have throughout my college career because it was so old and shitty. But on the flip side, I do think I used it enough that I would say having a laptop in college is definitely like buying one before you go off to school. I would personally say is a good move. Now that could also be because I was a computer science major, so there were a lot of times when I needed to maybe work on some code, and I was like, at the library, and I didn't want to walk all the way back to my house or whatever, my dorm, just to do some quick edits on something, or I wanted to check the process of something. Now, I actually ended up getting a lot of stuff on my phone, which was kind of suboptimal, but that also got the job done. So basically, what I was looking for was just my phone level of computer processing, just in a package that had a bigger screen and full keyboard, and that's basically what I have in my laptop now. So, it all worked out.
Was having a Mac a bottleneck at all? Or were you, did you have, a virtual machine set up
No.
in yours or anything? Okay.
No, I mean, and actually, it was even so it wasn't a bottleneck in terms of document editing, because I had whatever Microsoft O3 or something whenever I
Okay.
bought that. And a lot of, like you were talking about collaboration, a lot of collaboration was done on Google Docs anyway. So that's, obviously if you can just open it up in a browser, you're good to go. And then in terms of communicating with like the school server and stuff, it's, Mac is based on Unix, so it was all able to run it just fine.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that wasn't too big a problem. But
I had a
obviously I
MacBook.
didn't prepare,
I forgot you had a Mac too, Kevin. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
I love my MacBook. The only thing that I wish I did differently was get a smaller one, so it was easier to carry around.
And not break it.
And not break it.
It didn't. I mean, how was it broken? The
I don't know. I thought you said you broke it. Never mind.
the trackpad was broken for like a month, but
Ah,
and I just pressed down on it really hard and then it started to work again.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Apply in a little extra
solution.
force and it works out fine.
The thing that really got me through, especially junior and senior year of college, I had a Surface RT. So that's pretty much exactly what you're saying, Tom. Was like something a little bit bigger than a phone that could do just word processing and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. This thing was a very valuable asset, and I didn't want to get a full-on laptop yet, and that was kind of the cheapest option. So I was like, that'll work. It actually did really good, pretty well for me. Had the USB port on there was like the big selling point. So I was able to like upload photos and things at work, or whenever I'm like covering some event, I was able to slap it in there. Had to have Wi-Fi, and it wouldn't run like EXEs, so I couldn't use my mobile USB data card thing. So I'd use a mobile hotspot instead, which are more expensive, but whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My current laptop was like basically it is basically a tablet, but but it has it's got 3 USB. It's actually got like a shocking amount of ports. It's got like 3 USB ports, one of which is USB 3.0, has an HDMI out and VGA out, which you don't normally see on these things, and Ethernet. Doesn't have an optical drive, obviously, but like it's weird how good it works out.
what
I don't
company?
know.
You're talking about your Mac still?
No,
Oh, I
I
was gonna
bought
say,
it.
what are you
It's an
talking
Asus X200 MA, but it's 11.6 inches, so it's like tablet size.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
it's like super light. It's like a couple of pounds, and it's cheap. So
Yeah, this is my new one now. Has been the Alienware 14. I feel 14 inches is really nice size for portability. It's a little thick, kind of heavy, but I've been looking around a crappy old laptop for a while, so I kind of got used
yeah,
to it.
right.
So I don't know. Gaming laptops, I definitely will never use that for gaming, but the hard being able to do like the CUDA cores on the mobile GTX card, and then being able to use the hyper-threading on a laptop for me was like a huge step up considering what I was used to. So, speaking of Skylake transition, basically, people were able to
Nice.
people were able to overclock the new Skylake processors, their i7 6700K, all the way to 6.8 gigahertz. And at first, that's like, wow, that's really high. They probably took some life-saving measures. But not only was this at 6.8 gigahertz, this was with all cores, so all cores at 100%, plus hyper-threading enabled. So like a worst-case scenario for heat and all that, and they were still able to get it to 6.8 gigahertz. So I don't know if that speaks to either A, Skylake being very, very overclockable, or B, a really good overclocker who knows what he's doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it's a combination of both.
He was able to push the voltage on this. Normally it's about 1.2 volts, or from about 1.2 volts all the way to 2.024 volts. So,
It's a little much.
and obviously all under liquid nitrogen, of course.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
practicality out the window, but it's awesome.
Dude.
That's a 70% increase compared to its stock clock rate, which is just awesome. And of course, he overclocked the DDR4 too. The RAM speed up to 4,268 megahertz. So pretty ballin' machine, I'd say. So I want an unlocked processor so that I can overclock.
So you can do this.
So that's happening soon. So
Get
I
some liquid nitrogen.
brought my supplies out. I got the water cooling's happening. Expect a video within hopefully a month on the Stewie channel. Custom water cooling attempt. I don't know how well this is gonna go. Hopefully it'll break everything. That's why I'm buying a Pentium, the new Pentium G like 5.2. I forget what it is exactly, but it's a Haswell refresh Pentium, which is like a dual core but extremely overclockable. So I got all my goodies here. Again, the economy system that works. This is Tom's old parts. I purchased. I still
Trickle down, man.
Still have to
Trickle
give you
down.
money for this, but hopefully water cooling, custom water cooling loop coming within a month. That's kind of what my aim is for about a month.
It's real easy. I recommend
So-
everybody do it.
I'm excited. It really doesn't look that hard to do, honestly.
It's not at all.
But
It is not at all.
any of you guys overclock? I know Mark, you have an overclock on yours. You have Ivy Bridge, correct?
Yes, I do.
What are you overclocked up to?
It's at 4.4 right now.
Have you changed voltage or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well,
Only-
I have figured you would have to, but do you know what it's up to?
I don't do the fixed voltage. I have offset.
Okay, gotcha.
So I think it's up to like 1.3 something.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it works out.
Like Kevin, I forget. Do you have an unlocked processor on yours? I don't remember. Do you even know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, gotcha. I couldn't remember what your parts list. That was I could look at the video.
That's
I forget what
a
you
while
had
ago.
in there.
There you go.
Gotcha.
This is why we make these.
I don't think Ryan, you didn't overclock, right? You're not even, I don't think, running on an overclockable board. I'm pretty sure. Or no, you have the
wrong. I
you
have
have the
exact
Extreme
same
4,
setup
right?
as-
Same as
Yeah.
me.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought he had the Extreme 4.
I think I'm overclocked to 4.3 though, not 4.4. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Are you? I didn't actually know you overclocked. Holy shit.
I did. I did a while ago.
What?
There you
Oh,
go.
okay. Did you do it by yourself?
Mark just sent me the little guide that he used.
Wow, dude.
Nice. I'm just
Pretty easy to follow,
asking.
guy.
A lot of patronizing going on.
I'm
you were
just
smart enough for that.
asking.
Wow, dude.
Fucking
You just
asshole.
okay. Let's be real. I
Wow, you
did
never
not.
struck me as someone who could figure that out.
All right, Nick is rage quit the podcast.
God damn. I just didn't think you did. You just don't seem the type of person that would go through like the steps of having to do it and then.
Took like
What is-
30 minutes.
What does that even mean?
I'm just asking.
Whatever,
He's-
Nick, we're not friends anymore.
Fine, I'll kick you out of the stupid call. How do I can hang up on you right there now? I'm not gonna do it.
No,
though.
don't do that.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Well, eventually. So yeah, I'm gonna get the Pentium, some cheap, hopefully. I think the Micro Center in Chicago's north side had a Z77 Extreme or Pro 3, which you have, Tom. I think they have that like an open box version for like $80, so I might be able to pull that off. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, that's hopefully coming. Feature cast for future videos. Other than that, the last thing I really have, hardware-wise, the GTX 950, the new graphics card from NVIDIA, was more so listed and pictured, not necessarily formally announced. Basically, the speculation is that this will be the replacement for the 750 Ti, which is kind of deemed as like the really, really good card for budget builds. The 750 Ti was a pretty powerful card. So yeah. That's coming in the near future. Doesn't really apply to any of us, as we all have cards that are better than this, for the most part, anyway. You have SLI, Ryan, so it's close
Yeah, I
enough.
guess.
So, Kevin, I didn't get to talk to you about this. You got the 970, correct? Good talk.
Good
My mic's muted. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have it.
God damn it.
How's that card been treating you lately?
Right, no problems.
Let's do it.
Everything runs at pretty much ultra or high.
Nice, nice. 'Cause I know, Mark, you've been debating the 972, so that's exciting. I want to get.
I'll be getting it.
Okay. I just want to upgrade. I haven't done that in a while.
Just bored.
I am. I got new RAM.
Need to spend money.
New RAM.
I mean, why do you think I'm where I am?
Oh, yeah, we know.
the trickle down. Maybe I should just get your K processor. Let's buy that off you. Just
Yeah.
like an overclock.
I mean, it's just sitting here right now.
I don't know. But anyway, this is probably for those looking to enter the PC gaming area, this card will probably be your go-to for a budget card. Just based on the speculation anyway. Like I said, it's very likely to replace the 750 Ti. So, pretty exciting for people looking to build a computer. This will be based on the same architecture and all that kind of stuff. This is the PNY that was not, it's not Asus, we mentioned that earlier. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And yeah, like I said, it's based on Maxwell. It's the GM206 with the 768 Maxwell shaders, 128 bus, and 64 TMUs for a whole 32 ROPS for you technical people. All right. This is something Tom added to the doc, so I'm going to just give this to you because I didn't get a chance to look this one over. This is the Kronos.
Throw it over to me.
Yeah. This is all at the... You were talking to me about this earlier, the SIGGRAPH. How do you pronounce it? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, SIGGRAPH. Yeah, so basically SIGGRAPH, ACM, the Association for Computing Machinery, is the largest professional computers, society. And so they run a bunch of special interest groups throughout the year, and one of them is SIGGRAPH, which is graphics. So this week it's actually going on, and it's more so focused on like industry. So there are a lot of game engine companies there, but it's also stuff like Pixar and just general, like a lot of universities and stuff. NVIDIA is there, but they do a lot of just like technical demonstrations, a lot of algorithm stuff. So like how to make more realistically shaded rooms in general, or how to better animate cloth. I know NVIDIA did this demonstration of a balloon bursting as if it had been shot by a bullet and it was like full with water. But they like fully simulated it, so that was the whole point there. Again, like I said, Pixar and stuff, Disney likes to come out with a lot of stuff that you then later see crop up in movies. So it's sort of like you would see a lot of things here before you actually see them in a game or something. But one interesting thing about that is this Kronos group, they are basically the maintainers of the OpenGL specification. So in long or short terms, basically your graphics card has all this hardware for processing computer graphics, and your computer is running these programs, and it needs a way to talk to your graphics card. So that's where things like OpenGL or DirectX step in. They provide a list of processes that you can write your program to call, and it'll do all sorts of fancy graphic stuff for you. OpenGL, of course, is an open source version of this. It's used for a lot of games programming and engine stuff on Linux, which is important in this case at least because Android is based on Linux. So that's what OpenGL ES is. They debuted OpenGL ES. It's just saying that you're going to have a lot better graphics coming to Android. They have a bunch of different, newer stuff that you would see more so in desktop things like high dynamic range, tessellation, better anti-aliasing, all sorts of stuff like that. Just again, kind of like we were saying, mobile's the future, but it was just something they debuted. They also talked about new regular OpenGL stuff, just making it look better. That too had better AA, all sorts of stuff. But what I saw that was most interesting was they announced this what they're calling Vulcan. And so Vulcan is actually built off of AMD's Mantle, which if you remember, Mantle was AMD's, like they're saying how it has like zero overhead and it's like right down to the hardware level on your processor or on your GPU, and it'll make you'll be able to create all sorts of crazy graphics because it'll get you right down into the hardware and unlock its full potential. Then Microsoft announced DX12, which basically does all of that for you. So that fell by the wayside, but since it was an open standard, these guys, the Kronos group, they swept it up and they rolled it into Vulcan. And so basically the point of that is that once they get this specification running, everyone would profit. Ideally, if your graphics card supports OpenGL, it'll support this Vulcan, and you'll be able to get DirectX 12-like graphics and abilities on any card that you have. So it's an interesting idea, but I thought it was kind of interesting because especially I didn't know that they had actually kept things up with Mantle. I thought that sort of was done, which I guess it is,
As
but
with
now
most
it hasn't.
AMD things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, once they get superseded by someone, so. But this is where it lives on.
Okay.
So
Nice.
it's pretty interesting. Again, something to keep your eye on. The news here was that Vulcan wouldn't be released now, so it's sort of like non-news, but the fact that it exists and is brought to light is pretty interesting. So, yeah.
A lot of fun stuff. Most of that is just way over my head. I had a lot of that. I just
Basically,
not real into the whole graphic kind of thing.
Everything you hear about DX12 and how it's going to be so powerful and unleash the full power of your process or of your GPU, that's what these guys are trying to do in an open, non-Windows specific way.
Gotcha.
So
Hopefully,
that's that.
hopefully
Yeah.
gets,
So yay, open source.
Hopefully it gets more adopted by things. Speaking of open source is saving my life. That's what I've been working on for the last week. So
Always.
it has its good side of things, just not always. It's not always a great thing. I don't know. All right, well,
It works out.
that's all the topics we have.
That's that.
Closing remarks as we close out our second podcast this year. Anything? Well, we didn't have
I'm gonna
anything.
try to play
Open
some
source,
games.
woo.
Actually, we didn't have anything that was overly terrifying this time around, so we're not, terrified to leave our house. So that's good. Look at last week for that. You don't want to drive ever again. Your car might just get hacked and crash into walls. Woo! All right, on that note.
A week that wasn't terrible. All right.
There's a lot of just Rockstar being annoying and Microsoft snooping on you and possibly
Oh, yeah, I guess
turning
there's
things
that.
off. So, and then a lot of kind of cool hardware news that's coming that doesn't really apply to a lot of people, but
Isn't there?
it's still fun. August is kind of rough for tech news usually. Usually we start getting closer to the fall as when things start getting more interesting. So, we shall see. All right, well, everybody, thank you for watching live. Appreciate you guys watching in. Otherwise, for watching the archive, they'll be up here, Stewie2552, also on our other channel, youtube.com/Band of5Bros. That's what that is. All right, so then we'll be back next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time. I have to go to the YouTube link to turn it off. That's what I have to do.
Wow, dude.
Boop!
Worst podcast.